interpretive techniques were useful, but the reality had to be created. This is true in the case of interpreting the meaning of the pashrams, the type of bhakti, and the dance interpretation for the pashrams. Subjectivism came to play where the reality had to be perceived through the lens of Sri Vaishnavism, through the prism of the Alvars, where the philosophy, the ideology, and intent of the composition of the poet had to be taken into consideration. As far as the methods go, it's a combination of the heuristics and the discourse analysis. For heuristics, there was a lot of self-dialogue, threaded meditation, and indwelling on the topic to be able to focus and collect the ideas to be able to construct the reality. As far as discourse analysis goes, dominant statements by Vaishnava philosophers were collected, and that data was interrogated with purpose to context to be able to perceive the reality through the lens of Sri Vaishnavism. As far as the scope of this thesis goes, 85 out of the 1,102 pashrams of the Thiruvaimuri were studied. This corresponds to less than 10% of the entire Vaimuri and less than 2% of the entire Divya Prabandham, including my limited capabilities to be able to analyze them. As far as the literary review goes, 3 types of books were consulted. One is the Vaishnava theology books. The second is Natya Shastra and Abhinaya Darpana, primarily for the dance component. Although certain Alankara Shastras that were consulted for the sake of Bhakti Bhavas and Rasas that were post-Natya Shastra era. Now, as far as what exists in this field for this topic, although parts of the Divya Prabandham like the Nachiyar Tirumozhi and Tirupavai have been explored for dance, and also the Vatsalyam of Pervar has been explored right at this university, I think the dance interpretation for Thiruvaimuri, the resources at this point are little to none. So let me go into the layout of the topics. The study started with studying Bhakti from textual traditions. Texts like the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Narada Bhakti Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu were consulted to this end. And in addition, 2 closely related but different topics in Sri Vaishnavism, which is Bhakti and Sharanagati, were compared and contrasted within this chapter. And another important topic that was studied within this chapter in textual traditions is Thiruvaimuri serves answers to the 5 important questions that are raised in the Artha Panchakam, which provides the 5 principles for a liberation-seeking soul. So that topic has also been included in this chapter. The study then moved on to Tamil literature. In order to be able to set the context for the study, it gives a brief overview of the Tamil literature, starting from the inscriptions in the Sangakala Ilakyam, which is the Sangam literature, and all the way to the evolution of Sri Vaishnavism in Tamil Nadu, which was propounded by Sri Ramanujacharya as Visishta Advaitam, because the philosophy draws its principles from the Alvars literature and the Pancharatra Agam. So all these things have helped set the context for the analysis for dance. In addition, this chapter also gives the overview of the 12 Alvars, a brief biography, and then their works, their contributions to the Divya Prabandha. Further, the study narrowed down to studying Nammalvar's life and the Thiruvaimuri itself. Now, there is a brief description of Nammalvar's birth and life. There is a lot of discrepancy between the date for Nammalvar, but we can talk about it. As far as his life goes, the legend goes that, the first 16 years of his age, he did not exhibit any normal infancy behavior. He seemed to have crawled under the tamarind tree and remained in meditation. And then that after the 16 years, until the 35 years, he outpoured his emotion for Perumal through 4 works, which are Thiruvirtham, Thiruvasiriyam, Periya Thiruvandadi, and Thiruvaimuri. Thiruvirtham is considered as the essence of the Rig Veda, Thiruvasiriyam the essence of Yajur Veda, Periya Thiruvandadi the essence of Atharvana Veda, and our Thiruvaimuri, which is considered as the Sama Veda. That's why it's referred to as the Dravida Veda Sagaram, his works. And I think it's important here to look into some of the names attributed to Nammalvar, because I'm not going to call all the names, but I'll bring up a few, because I think that those are important, that signifies his work. One is, he's called Shatakopan. One, referring to the air of illusion, and Kopan refers to the one who kicked it away right at birth. So that is Shatakopan. And then our Alvar becomes Parankushanaka when it comes to Shrungara or Madhura Bhakti. So that's yet another name attributed to him. And Prapanna Janakutasthar is another name attributed to Nammalvar, because he is considered as the leader of all Prapannas who aspired for liberation. Now, he's contributed 4 compositions, like I said, and that counts for a majority part of the Divya Prabandham, which is 1,352 pashrams out of the 4,000 pashrams in the Nalayira Divya Prabandham. And to talk a little bit about Thiruvaimuri itself, this has 1,102 pashrams, set in Andhra style, which stands testimonial for his poetic excellence. They are divided into 10 cantos or chapters, and each canto is divided into 10 sub-chapters called Tirumoris, and each Tirumari has about 11 passurams, according for 1102 passurams. So this is a little bit about the layout of Tiruvayamuri itself. Now, with all this background context, let's step into my contribution to this thesis, which is the dance adaptation part itself, which categorized under the 5 types of bhakti. The interpretation starts off with the transliteration and translation of the different passurams categorized in the different types of bhakti. Now, the dance component draws itself from the Natya Shastra and Abhinaya Darpana. Like I mentioned, some of the Bhakti Bhavas and Rasas are drawn from various Alankara Shastras. In addition, images, motifs, and analogies have all been incorporated to bring out the deeply ingrained philosophical meaning within the passurams. Dramatic components have found their due places to explore the breadth of the Kuchipudi style. And a preliminary analysis of the ragata aspects has been provided alongside with the analysis, which is the musicality aspect. And in addition, a sample prosody analysis has been provided in the appendix section of this thesis. Now, as far as the categories of bhakti goes, the Shanta, Preeti, and Praise categories have relied more on the evident meaning of the lyrics, the Padartha, Vakyartha, while the Vatsalya and Madhura categories have been provided with a two-pronged interpretation, including the Gudartha and Viparidhartha as well. The idea of symbolism and Sattvika Abhinaya, along with Astrangika Abhinaya, has been suggested for the philosophical interpretation of the passurams. And I think the Vatsalyam in Tiruvayamuri is very unique, worth mentioning here, because it differs from the Vatsalyam of the other Alvars, because our Nammalvar has taken the role of the mother-in-law to the Lord. He actually personifies two characters. His daughter, who is passionately in love with the Lord, and the mother who goes about advocating for her daughter to the Lord, to accept the daughter. And coming to Madhura, again, this is another interesting aspect. The Vatsalyam and Madhura has been interpreted dramatically as a dramatic sequence. And in Madhura, like I said, the Alvar becomes Parankusanayika, and this has been explored in the Sambhoga and the Vipralamba categories. In the Vipralamba Sringara category, the 9 out of the 10 stages of the Dashakama avasthas have been established as a dramatic sequence using suitable passurams for each category in this interpretation. Now, these are some of the highlights of the dance interpretation part, and I'd like to, list the conclusions that the thesis draws from the study. As far as bhakti goes, all types of bhakti has been identified and analyzed within this literature, although the thesis arrives at 3 major categories within the Tiruvayamuri, which are the Shanta, Vatsalya, and Madhura, for obvious reasons. And as far as the literature goes, I think the study has established the lyrics to be musical, aesthetic. There is so much tact in packaging the philosophical and emotional content, which are all parameters that make it conducive for dance interpretation. As far as dance itself goes, I think the elements of Natya Shastra, which are Trubhida Abhinaya, Chitra Abhinaya, Alankaras, and Dashakamas, that have found their due places in the dance interpretation, along with certain hastas, like the Dashavat hastas, Andavya hastas from the Abhinaya Darpana, and some Vedas have also been incorporated in the choreography. Symbolism, images, motifs, and bhavas and rasas from Alankara Shastras, all these have been suggested in the process of the choreography. Coming specifically to the Kuchipudi element itself, I think the dramatic elements to the Natakiyata style have been identified and documented in the process of choreography. Ahari Abhinaya, which includes the stage decor as well as the artist decor itself, have been suggested in places. The thesis has identified passurams suitable for rendition using Vachika Abhinaya, Vachanams, to be able to chant the passurams to make sense, have also been identified and documented. And certain salient characteristics of the Kuchipudi Parijatams and Kalapams, like the Sakhi episode or the Dutika or the Dushana segment that is found in these, have also been incorporated in the Vipralamba Sringara element. As far as the import for researchers and practitioners go, mentioned there is no work that I could find for, interpreting the Tiruvayamuri for dance. So this thesis in English hopes that it breaks some of the linguistic barriers. And the components of dance and Kuchipudi have been established for this work that stands unchanged and flawless over several thousand years, with 5 different Vyakyanams that have been established hundreds of years ago. So as far as suggestions for future researchers go, I think the Vatsalyam component or the Madhura component are components for independent study by themselves. And comparison of the Vatsalyam between Periyalvar and Kulasekar Alvar, who considered himself as mother to the Lord, versus our Alvar, who considered himself to the mother-in-law to the Lord, is a good candidate for comparative study. And the Madhura also has a lot of strong Vedanta back in philosophy and structure that has been established to it. And I think comparing our Parankusha Nayika, which is Nammalvar, to the Parakala Nayika, which is our Tirumangai Alvar, is another candidate for study, as an individual study by itself. And there is enough material to take that as an individual research. Now, coming to the Divya Desams, which in the Thiruvaimozhi, I think this is particularly important because Nammalvar never traveled to any of these Divya Desams. He sat under this tamarind tree his entire life. The belief goes that the Murtis came themselves and presented themselves before Nammalvar for him to be able to vividly document details about these Divya Desams. So taking this study can be another interesting study for people who may want to do it. Another important thing that I refer to is Artha Panchakam and Thiruvaimozhi parallels. Now, Artha Panchakam gives 5 principles. Like I mentioned, for the liberation-seeking soul, they are Swaswarupa, Paraswarupa, Purushartha Swarupa, Upaya Swarupa, and Virodhi Swarupa. In English, they are what is a Jivatma, what is Paramatma, what is the goal of this human life, what are the ways to achieve it, and what are the obstacles that come in the path. Now, using Thiruvaimozhi Pasurams as answers to these questions can be a full-fledged dramatic and thematic production for people who may be interested in this topic. Now, above all, I think it calls for globalization and unshackled outreach beyond linguistic barriers. And I think to present such complex, concepts, dance is a brilliant medium to be able to impactfully deliver this essence, this literature that delivers the essence of human life and the doctrine of Sharanagati, and expand the repertoire for Kuchipudi. So this is my study, and thank you for the opportunity. I thoroughly enjoyed the process.
Stop sharing the screen.
Sure, sir.
Amma Yashoda,
Yes, sir.
you can begin.
So, thank you for the thesis, Sumitra. Very,
My
very
pleasure,
touching.
Andy. Thank you.
Very, very emotional thesis that was. But I still have to be harsh and talk to you as an academician.
Sure.
So, the critical analysis side of it is a little weak. It's very nice. It makes for a very good article. It makes for a good read. We are enjoying it. But there is no critical analysis to it. Okay.
So I can give my defense when it is due.
Now?
Now, okay. So I have really scratched at the tip of the iceberg. For me to give critical analysis of the Thiruvaimozhi, for me, critical analysis comes across as you write critical analysis for something you have read cover to cover, you fully understand it. And I'll take an extra minute to answer this because the first time I went to people for content on the Thiruvaimozhi, people asked me, what do you know about Divya Prabandham? What do you know about the work of Nammalvar? Nothing, but I really want to know. This was my answer. And they said, if you want to study Thiruvaimozhi in 6 months and do a thesis and take it to dance, then, please go find something else to do. Because I was, upset. I was disappointed why they would not allow me to do this. But, I don't defy what they said at this point. After, studying a little bit into it, now I know what they meant. I was really scratching at the edge to be able to do a thesis for a master's program adapted to dance, and I am in no position to give a critical analysis of a work of 5,000 years. I think I need to at least understand. Nammalvar's outpouring started in Tiruvirittam, and I don't know anything about that. And I think to come and talk, to give a critical review on Thiruvaimozhi, I don't feel my candidacy for that. It would be like I think buying a lottery ticket.
It's not just you. Nobody can. So, is that a topic for research is the question. It's a topic to soak in, enjoy, make
Absolutely.
a part of yourself and live. So not every topic becomes a topic for research. So probably it's just an observation. I may be completely wrong. Because I just feel bringing Nammalvar into a master's thesis is like... Okay.
Yes, and I don't refute the fact that a researcher can look into that aspect, with the critical eye. But I think the researcher must be qualified to be able to look at such a work with that eye.
Right. Okay. Can you explain, or maybe sir can explain to me what Parankusa Nayika is? I'm not getting a grip of that. This is for my knowledge.
I will do my best, and I know sir will do better than me. Parankusha Nayika. Ankusha is that
Anchor.
the hook, right? Anchor. So the one who hooks the Lord with her love in the Sringara category.
Right.
Is my understanding, sir, and I am available
sir?
for my education.
ఇక్కడ you have to understand some words, not just from the etymological point of understanding the word, splitting the word like that. Her love is controlled by the para. So that is not hooked by that. Her only love is love for the God and nobody else. So if there is anybody whom she loves, it is God. And everything that she does regarding love, whether it is physical love or emotional love or spiritual love or whatever you call it, everything is controlled, ankusham by the para. So that is Parankusha Nayika. Very beautiful concept actually.
Very beautiful. Even if it is a negative thing, even if the Nayika is deriding him and rejecting him, even that is controlled by him.
Yes.
Even rejection is controlled by him. It's very beautiful. Excellent.
Complete surrender.
Yes. So this table where you draw between bhakti and saranagati,
yes,
is that drawn by you or you've taken it from somewhere?
So I don't think I have completely adopted it from somewhere. I did my reading, and I have incorporated points from where I have taken, but
it's not a reference, right? I was looking for a reference. Okay, that's fine. So when you said Dr. Rakesh Gupta, you didn't give a reference, Sumitra. You must give a reference as to where he said that. You just said Dr. Rakesh Gupta.
Oh, the Puranas. Yes,
you have to give that thing.
Yes.
I have a problem with this. The 4 compositions you spoke about, and then you connected each of the composition with the Vedas. So why connect to Veda? By themselves, each one is a...
Why connect ante that? Yes.
Why validate it with something else? It's a validation by itself. Each of the composition by itself is a validation. You don't need something else to validate it. And then you do understand that you've done a fantastic job with the Kuchipudi side and analysis and giving us the means to choreograph. But you understand that it's subjective, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It is completely subjective, which means a major chunk of your thesis, the crux of your thesis is subjective.
Very much, yes.
Right? Okay. And also that it is not so Nritta oriented or Nritya oriented either. It is mostly Abhinaya oriented. Most of it is Abhinaya oriented. So that doesn't complete the whole gamut of the Kuchipudi possibility.
I see.
Right? Yeah, just putting it across. You can induce Nritta here and there, but as I read the Pashrams, I thought, okay, maybe here, but I just felt, no, it's nicer without the Nritta. So you're only covering the Abhinaya part of it, because it's Sattva, because it is just emoting. And I come back to my point that not everything needs to be danced to. Few things have to be experienced and kept within. That experience will reflect in something else that you dance. Everything doesn't. Tyagaraja Pancharatna Kritis need not be danced to. You just have to listen to Balamurli Garu sing it and experience it. Something like that. Okay. I personally loved the thesis. Academic side, there are problems which I have said to you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you.
Sumitra, well done, ma.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for dropping me in the middle of the ocean, sir. There's no other topic I want to be involved in.
Is it a compliment or a complaint?
చెప్పాను కదా, there is no other topic I could have invested in the last month.
It is
More
good.
than this, there is no other topic I want to be.
That dedication is very nice. See, there are some areas where you need to be a scholar also. Just being a devotee all through the thesis does not help. I want to see the scholar in you. This is a thesis, not to see a devotee in you. The thesis wants to see a scholar in you. And the scholar in you should have said, do you believe that Nammalvar 5,000 years ago, 5,000 BC?
Sir, I do agree there are several opinions about the dates, which I should have looked at it with a scholarly eye, as you suggest. Now, there are dates drawn from literary sources. There is from the, the tradition, the sampradaya itself that says. So, I should not have left that end loose. I concur with what you say.
You should have done that.
I could have, yeah.
See, what happens is when you look at the Pasurams and the language in the Pasurams, and you look at the language of the Silapadhikara or Manimekalai or Ahananur or any other ancient text, and you see the modern text of, until almost you come up to Kambaramayana, or, you take Kulsekara Alvar, or you take any other, Nayanar's Shaivite composition. The language will tell you, internal evidence of the language will tell you, probably the period of this could be this because of the internal evidence of the language, the kind of language used. And many scholars believe that Nammalvar could have been 9th century AD. So there is a 5,900 years difference. Even if you don't agree with 9th century AD, I will still support you if you have just discussed at least the date.
Yes.
That is one thing. Then the second thing is, what is Pashuram? Don't look at anything and tell me. I am only looking at your glossary. And you said in glossary, what did you translate Pashuram?
Confusion, sir. Let me read from there.
You did not know what you did?
Okay, sir. It's not that I don't know what I did, but when I...
Yeah, Pashuram என்னம்மா இங்கிலீஷ் வேர்டு உங்களுக்கு தெரியாமலே எழுதிருக்குங்களா?
இல்ல தெரியாம எழுதல சார். பெண்ணங்கிறது இப்ப டென்ஷன்ல ஞாபகம் வரல இல்லையா, அதனால ஒரு வாட்டி பாத்துக்கிறேன், வேற ஒண்ணும் இல்ல.
Hello.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Him and Betten, sir.
Is that right?
It's not the complete translation for Pashuram.
No, you should say Pashurams are Alvar hymns. Nothing else is called Pashuram. You cannot call Venkateswara Suprabhatam or, Nayanar's Shaivite compositions as Pashuram. They are also hymns. Every hymn is not a Pashuram. Pashuram is a hymn. So you should have said Alvar's Pashuram. So glossary does not have mistakes. Then
I will fix that.
Your page number 32 to 36. You are talking about all the Alvars and their compositions. I somehow feel that this is almost a little modified excerpt from alvars.org website.
So you feel like the content, several of the content resembles that?
The way it is written, most of it, the content, looks like that. Even in plagiarism test, we found you used Alvar. You should use Alvar Sarg. I am not disputing that. But if you have taken it from Alvar Sarg, you should have said that you have taken it from us.
Sure, sir. I'll include that in my bibliography.
That's it. And then page number 43. Pillai Lokacharya in Sara Sangrama Sangramam or Sangraham?
Sangramam.
Says Tiruvayamoli is considered to be the explanation of Divya Mantra.
Dvaya Mantra.
Dvaya Mantra. You should say what is his quotation rather than what is Dvaya Mantra. You have given the Dvaya Mantra there. You have not given the quotation of Pillai Lokacharya.
Okay, sir. I'll fix that too.
Apram. One more question. What is Navavidha Bhakti?
Navavidha Bhakti is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam. You're asking me to list the Navavidha Bhakti, sir?
Okay. Yes.
Sravanam, Kirtanam, Padasevanam, Vandanam, Archanam. Sorry, tension low. Memory recall is not good. Let me.
Tension vaddu talli. You can take your time. It is your thesis. You can refer it and tell me. I just wanted to make some, normal notion and correction. That's why I wanted to ask you this question. Not that you don't know.
ఇప్పుడు చెప్తాను సార్. శ్రవణం, కీర్తనం, విష్ణు స్మరణం, పాదసేవనం, అర్చనం, వందనం, దాస్యం, సఖ్యం, ఆత్మవేదనం.
So what are these?
9 types of devotion.
That is wrong. That is what I wanted to correct you.
I see. Okay.
See, this Bhagavatam, that is where we do mistake. As a research scholar, you should take a quotation fully. Don't take half of it and come to a conclusion and say these are 9 bhaktis. The quotation says, Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu, Bhaktischain Navalakshana. Bhakti has 9 lakshanas. Not 9 types of bhakti. This is a very common mistake everybody does. These are not 9-fold bhakti. This is 9 characteristics of bhakti. Basically, it begins with Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, ends with Atmanivedanam. You begin with Sravanam and end with total surrender. Bhakti chain Navalakshana. That is very important component. Apram, I'll ask you in the 6-10. 6-10 வந்து உலகமுள்ள பெருவாயால் கீர்த்தி அம்மானே.
உலகில் கீர்த்தி அம்மானே. எஸ்.
அது.
ஒக்க நிமிஷம் சார் తీసుకుంటాను.
அது கொஞ்சம் பண்ணி காட்டுறியா?
Okay.
Can you perform that? Can you show me what is the choreography meant for that? Tell us the meaning.
Absolutely, sir. I can start with that. Okay, Nisham, I think I did it in Shanta category. Let that pass. Just a second.
Because your crux of thesis is on choreography, adaptation of Tiruvayamoli to Kuchipudi, so I just want to know how you handle that.
Oh, sir. Okay, Nisham. I'm just finding that. Maybe I can open it in my computer.
Paachram na kodukova? No, negative irukonu. Just play the music.
No, I will explain word by word and show a demo first.
No, you just give the summary because we don't have time. You give the summary of this Paachram. What is this Paachram about? Only 6.10. Don't go beyond that.
No, I'm not going beyond. I just need the lyrics in front of me. I'm quickly opening it.
Yeah, just give a summary and then it should be Sumitra.
Okay. So, indulo the one that I depicted was Pugalondrilla Adiyen, Agalagillen, the last stanza.
முதல்ல பாச்சுரம் படி. அதுக்கப்புறம் சம்மரம் கொடுக்கணும். சம்மரி கொடுத்துட்டு அது மேல பண்ணி காட்டணும்.
சரி சார். அகலகில்லேன் இறையும் என்று அலர்மேல் மங்கை உரை மார்பா, நிகரில் புகழாய் உலகம் மூன்றுடையாய் என்னை ஆழ்வானே, நிகரில் அமரர் முன்னிக்கணங்கள் விரும்பும் திருவேங்கடத்தானே புகழ் ஒன்று இல்லா அடியேன் உன் அடிக்கீழ் அமர்ந்து புகுந்தேனே. That is the recitation of the Pachuram. So, புகழ் ஒன்று இல்லா அடியேன் உன் அடிக்கீழ் அமர்ந்து புகுந்தேனே means புகழ் ஒன்று இல்லா is nenu tikkuleni vaadni, or maybe I'll tell it in English. I don't have.
You have to say it in English only. You have to say it in English because nobody understands Tamil. Except maybe a couple of people who are there in the 21 participants are here.
Okay.
Please tell us the name.
Okay. So, புகழ் ஒன்று அடியில் இல்லா அடியேன்.
You don't need to read it again. You don't need to read it again. Give the English summary of the entire.
English summary is, I don't have a refuge, and I have found that at your feet. And I am not going to move away from you, you the Lord who bears the lotus dame on your chest, Lakshmi on your chest. All the Nityasuris and the people in Vaikuntham are continuously offering you prayers, and I have taken respite or refuge at your feet. This is the meaning of the Pachuram altogether.
Perform.
So, புகழ் ஒன்று இல்ல, I have no respite. Under your feet, I have taken my refuge. Can I please rest under your feet and take
చేసావు కదా, మ్యూజిక్ తో చెయ్యి. చూపి, you've done it కదా.
I have provided it in the video and ఇప్పుడు ఇలా చేస్తాను.
I know, but sir is asking you to perform it. So perform it. Get up and perform it. What is that?
You don't have the music for it?
You have the music for it kada.
లేదు అంత ఉందండి. If you don't mind, I have provided it in the video.
No, it's all right. I have told Anupama to tell every student
I did.
to come prepared to give a performance if asked.
I did
I
that.
am not asking suddenly, I have given a notice, given advanced invitation to all of you. நீ பண்ணி பார்த்தா ஒரு கொஞ்சம்
just play it and do it.
ஒரு புனிதமான ஒரு நாள்ல நீ பண்ணி ஒரு பாசுரம் பார்த்தா கொஞ்சம் நல்லா இருக்கும், அருமையா இருக்கும்னு சொல்லி கேட்கிறேன்.
Just adjust.
இல்ல சார், அதுக்கு தான் நானும் பயப்படுறேன். புனிதமான நாள்ல என்ன ஆட சொல்றீங்க?
No, you don't get scared. You just do it as you've done it in the video that you have provided in your.
நான் அன்றது விட்டா எல்லாம் பண்ண முடியும்.
అలాగే సార్. Sir, I wasn't expecting a demo. Let me move rooms because I'm in the table right now. నేను ఎవరు డెమో చేయలేదు, అందుకని నాకు ఉండదు అనుకున్నాను.
ఇలా ఒక చోట నించుని చెయ్యి, మ్యూజిక్ పెట్టుకుని ఒక చోట నించుని చేసినా చాలు. And put it on, let me put it on, how do we put it on? Yeah. How can we make it bigger? Mamata is there. Can we put her screen bigger, Mamata?
Yes, sir. It is coming only hers only. Ours is
hers. I have put her on spotlight.
Yes, she is on spotlight.
Yeah.
பாட்டு கேக்குதா சார்? Are you able to hear?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
பாட்டு கேக்குறது பண்ணுமா, சீக்கிரம் பண்ணிடு. 2 minutes பண்ணா போறோம். 2 minutes.
அமர்ந்து புகுந்தே அடிக்கி அமர்ந்து புகுந்தே அகலகில்லேன் இறையோ என்று கலர்மேல் வங்கை உரை மார்பான் அகலகில்லேன் இறையோ
Podum. That's enough. That is enough. That is enough. That is enough. That is enough. Stop the music. Who sang, Amma?
Yes, sir. I couldn't find anybody who could sing and do Divya Prabandham, so eventually I got my cousin to sing.
Okay. Now, about
Yes,
Bhakti, you should have provided better quotations from Bhagavad Gita than the one you have given. I have given the sloka numbers in chapter 10. 2 or 6 or 8 or 13 or 14 should have been a better choice of definition of Bhakti from Bhagavad Gita. The one that you have given does not, page number 23, does not really define Bhakti proper. So that is what it is. Thank you very much, Amma. You have Anupama. I open it for Anupama.
First of all, I love the topic, so we've been working like crazy about it, especially because of Annamacharya being so supposedly the incarnation of Nammalvar. So it's very close to my heart for sure. And Sumitra, I think, has worked with a lot of devotion and dedication on this topic. But having said that, she had her limitations because Sanskrit she cannot understand, Telugu script she cannot read. So because of that, we had some limitations in the actual definition business. And for that, I really thank Sir, because he spent a substantial amount of time with us, on Kavya Alankara Sara Sangraha and giving her all the definitions and everything, which then I translated into English and, we discussed it that way. So I think for that, I'm really grateful. I also feel that the critical analysis for this is immensely huge and something that maybe even a PhD will not cover. But yes, it is also required for us to be able to look at it from the perspective of different compositions within that very text and within the other Vishishtadvaita traditions as well. So that is a very, very, very valid point that Yashoda has raised. And for the rest of it, I think for the dance interpretation, the two-pronged approach, the single-pronged approach, I think she has worked very much from her own mind, which I think I really, commend. So I thank you all for your inputs in this thesis, because we got a lot of inputs from everybody in this thesis. So thank you so much for it, and very well done, Sumitra. I'm very proud of you, all the theses that were presented.
In conclusion, Yashoda, you want to say something?
No, sir.
In conclusion, I want to add 2-3 things. One, all the 5 theses are done very well. All of them, within their capacity, their availability of resources, and the kind of, some people were able to come here down to India before last semester and came and worked. So I appreciate all the work done by all these 5 students very meticulously. There will be, after all, it is a master's thesis, it's not a PhD thesis. There will be some lapses here and there. One lapse I want to mention to all of you, because, what is the difference between Alankara Shastra and Lakshana Grantha? Because Rajesh says Natya Shastra is an Alankara Shastra. And it is not an Alankara Shastra. And, the books like Jaya Prasena and Rutaratnavali or Sangeeta Ratnakaram or Abhinaya Darpanam or Natya Shastra cannot be classified as Alankara Shastra. Alankara Shastra Granthas are basically works on poetics. They deal with Kavya Lakshanas, Nayikas, Rasa, Nayika Vedas, Alankaras, Dhvani, Rasam, everything. They don't deal with an iota of dance. They deal with Rasa, they deal with Nayika Vedas, but they don't deal with it because it is limited to poetic work. Poetics, Alankara Shastra Granthas are poetics, treatises on poetics. And Lakshana Granthas are treatises on a particular area, Sangeeta Ratnakara is on music. In those days, there was a tradition that any book written on music should have some chapters on dance. Any book written on dance should have some chapters on music. Because dance and music, Itam Vajincha and Ruchincha Trayam Sangeetam Uchyate, so they do that. And so please don't classify books under Alankara Shastra unless they belong to Alankara. And I am very happy, but as you rightly said, the limitations of understanding Sanskrit text or Telugu text, or some people their mother tongue is Telugu, can't read Telugu. So we cannot find fault with these people, but that is the situation we are in. So at least authentic translations would have helped, and rather than internet sources. Authentic original translations by very good scholars. There are umpteen number of translations on Natya Shastra, on every aspect that all of you have taken. So that much said, and thank you very much for this semester, all the 5 scholars. Anupama, you deserve congratulations, appreciation. Yashada, you deserve appreciation. All the 5 scholars, Anuradha, Jyoti, Kalyani, Rajesh, and Sumitra, wonderful job. All the best. God bless you. This is the beginning of something. This is beginning of an authentic writing by you. So don't try to understand that by writing one thing I have become a scholar. See, Annamacharya writes 32,000 compositions and never uses his name anywhere. He says, you are instrumental, you stay on my tongue and make me recite these things. Na nalukapai nundi nana sankirtanalu puni nache nannu palikinchitivi venamala vennunda vinusimpanenantavadu kanimmani naki punyamu gattiti vinteyanaya antadu. So surrender, study, and being a student all your life. If I read Natya Shastra again after 40 years of studying, I still find something that I never knew. So reading one book, one sentence, one line 10 times does not make a scholar. So we are all students. Please understand that. There used to be scholars. We are all students. Thank you very much.
So, question.
God bless you all. Yeah.
So,
Rajesh.
Yeah. And generally, when we talk about these references, we are going with books that are published or authentic references that are published online, right? But Alankara Shastram, for example, Natya Shastra is Alankara Shastra, and 2-3 resources which cite chesan, right? But it's there. It's in the authentically published books lo undi adi, right? And so when we put this with a reference and when we present it in a thesis, what else can we do to defend this?
What else can you do? You should quote who said that as Alankara Shastra.
Yeah, I have a reference, sir. It's in the thesis. I put it in there. If Punalagar book la undi, Wisdom Library la undi, there are 3 places where it's actually cited as Alankara Shastra. Same thing.
I agree with you. There may be difference of opinions and different interpretations.
And as learners, the best thing we can do is refer something and cite the authentic citation is the best we can do.
No. Basically the word. Basically word Alankara ante enti. Alankara Shastra ante enti. See, there are only some chapters which deal with Alankara Shastra and Natya Shastra. It does not deal with the chapters on Angika Abhinaya, Aharya Abhinaya, Sartika Abhinaya, Chitra Abhinaya, Samanya Abhinaya, Tandava, Purvaranga Vidhana, the Mandapa Vidhana, Mandapa Nirmanam. These are all not part of Alankara Shastra. How can you call it Alankara Shastra? 6 chapters, 7 chapters on music. They are not Alankara Shastra. How can you call it Alankara Shastra? The majority of the book does not deal with Alankara Shastra. There are components of Alankara Shastra. This and that does not make this Alankara Shastra.
Yeah, and I am not disputing that at all, sir. And my only
you are not disputing it.
Read another article down the line. When I'm referring, I'm authentically citing books that are published, read, and documented.
Even one thing, one very good
learner can do.
Yeah, very good. One very good point is, when in doubt, use Lakshana Grantha. Even Alankara Shastra is a Lakshana Grantha. But a Lakshana Grantha is not an Alankar Shastra. See, like all things that have 4 legs are not animals. A table can have 4 legs. So you have to classify properly and be safe when you are making references, particularly in these.
And the way I
Don't tread into unknown areas.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank
Have
you,
a very good Surya Grahanam to all of you. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Yeah. Yashoda, you want to say something? No?
No, sir.
Bye. Namaskaram.
Thank you.
Namaskaram, sir.